They're programmed to be peaceful, like you. But for some reason, it's not catching.
Donald Trump.
What?
They suppress the lighting, the glycosylated salts, and then boop, boop, boop. Angry turtles. We don't like it.
There's the rub.
So, yesterday, Tuesday, still Wednesday, we're in a time flux. Yesterday was a fun day for getting questions that I would like to provide answers for. And somebody asked me to look into Lucis Trust. I gotta tell you, I was like, sounds like a cult. Looked into it, was like, yeah, it's a cult. And then I was kind of like reading all their material, and I'm just like, oh, I got a great video to make about this. Again, not entirely sure that it's going to be the answer that this person would like to have, but I think it will be entertaining at the very least for everybody. So I can't wait to do that. But like that, I think I need to get like screenshots to sit and read stuff with you guys, and we got to do that. So that might be like a weekend thing. I might have to make that a project for the weekend when I got time, because I don't think I work this weekend, but I might. I don't know. Either way, Saturday is a good day to do it. I'll have the computer on uploading shit anyways, so might as well make a video while I'm doing it. But somebody else asked me about Donald Trump and the tariff dividend checks that we're all supposed to get. Asked me what I think about that. They are of the opinion that it is a bad idea. And I think we need to look at it, right? Because my response just off the cuff was, well, why is it so bad? Like, I don't know why it would be so bad to give everybody that's not a above certain level earner $2,000. Like, times are rough right now. We're coming out of a fucking shutdown that's going to be started back down again in February because we're just kicking the can down the road just to get everybody back to work or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it would be a good thing. A lot of people are pissed off about this whole snap shit. Probably won't, but might get people to stop robbing places. But my guess is all the people that are robbing places, when they get their $2,000, they're going to turn that into like $3,000 worth of debt because they're going to go on a $5,000 vacation. It's just my thought. But nevertheless, at first when I saw that, I was like, fantastic. These tariffs must be doing good. And, you listen to Donald Trump talk, and we're making billions and trillions of dollars. And I'm like, hey, that's good. This country's investing into us for trillions of dollars. That country's investing into us for trillions of dollars. And I'm like, alright, that's cool, whatever. Because at first I'm like, well, what are they buying? Oh, they're not really buying. They're kind of like buying. Like, they're not buying land. They're not buying buildings. They're not buying this, that. I mean, they still are. Don't get me wrong. They're still buying up our country like mad. But, they're also buying fuck tons of cars, and they're buying shit tons of other products that we make, and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, wow, all right, cool. That's cool. We're bringing in our products into places they were never really allowed before, so other people would begin to be able to enjoy the utter mediocrity that everything we make in this country has become. So, bonus. And, and we're gonna tariff all of the fucking stuff that we import, so that all of the stuff that we make here will hopefully be bought over all the stuff that we import, because instead of everything we make here being more expensive than all the cheap shit that we get from China, because they can pay kids to make it for $1 a day, you know what I mean? Like, instead of that being kind of the thing, now everything from China is going to be more expensive, and the American stuff is going to be cheaper. And it's like a relative thing. It's not like the American stuff is all of a sudden cheaper. It's the same price. It's just everything else is now more expensive, so you got to pay the higher price, and that's kind of fucked up. But at the same time, we're paying Americans to do American work in America, and that's good. You know what I mean? Like, more people are making more money. I don't know. I don't know what you do, but whatever. I get kind of the idea of it. I imagine that's kind of a rough way that it works out. I haven't really looked into exactly how the whole thing really plays out, but I imagine that's kind of what it is. Ultimately, when it comes down to it, that must be the philosophy somewhere. That makes sense to me. But nevertheless, so I'm like, well, as long as we got the math right, fuck it. Everybody gets $2,000. Except for people that make over a certain amount. And also, it's kind of like, well, if it's taxpayer money, I don't really like that, because it's still just wealth redistribution. It's just now we're redistributing the wealth from the top kind of into the bottom, because we're cutting the top out as far as who gets it. So I'm like, alright, well, I don't like the idea of it being from tax money, because that, just give us a tax cut. Like, figure out taxes are coming up in a couple of months, so figure out a fucking tax cut for us, and give us a fucking tax break of up to $2,000 or whatever. Do that. Why are you cutting us a check? But it's not supposed to be that. It's supposed to be from the tariffs. Like, this is supposed to be money we're making from the tariffs. Hey, we're making so much money from the tariffs, we're going to pay you guys. We're going to pay out, like, you live in this country, if you're a citizen, right, then you get the $2,000 because we're doing good. We're doing so good, we can afford to just cut you a $2,000 check just for being awesome. Here you go. I'm like, fantastic. And then I looked at the numbers. How much money have the tariffs made us so far? And it's like $250 billion. And I'm like, alright, cool, that's a lot of money. Not as much as I was thinking. Not as much as you'd need to pay everybody $2,000. And then I looked at, how much is it going to cost to pay the proposed amount of people $2,000? It's like $600 billion. And I'm like, so some of this is going to be taxpayer money that will, like, refund over the next year or two of tariff collection. And I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't know how much more I'm in favor of this, because now we're getting into, well, some of it's going to be tariff money, but like all of the tariff money, right? And then we're going to also add in, like, more than, twice as much of taxpayer money. So we are, like, redistributing, like, some of the wealth from the top down, but we're also spending up all of the tariff money that we made. I'm kind of like, well, kind of makes it seem to me like the tariffs, I don't know, like, I'll be honest, I haven't really noticed a difference in my life of much of anything. I've noticed that gas has come down. And I've noticed that some of the prices of some things have kind of come down. Some of the prices of other things have kind of gone up. And some of the things that used to be much smaller are now a little bit bigger. And some of the things that used to be bigger are now a little bit smaller. Like, I haven't really, like, gas being under $3. That's been pretty cool. So, I imagine that's the drill baby drill philosophy working. Cool. Sounds to me like the drill baby drill philosophy makes gas prices go down. So when Joe Biden said, hey man, there ain't shit I can do about gas prices, apparently he fucking could. Drill baby drill. But you didn't want to do that. Well, you didn't know what you wanted to do. You didn't really fucking care. You got to be president, and that was fun enough. the people who told you what to think, they were the ones who didn't like it. So, whatever. Nevertheless. So I was like, yeah, this seems dumb. I'm like, something's going on here. So I continued to dig. And you know what I find out? I find out that the Supreme Court is currently hearing the case of whether or not the tariffs are even legal for him to impose, because he's using some kind of like weird roundabout fuck around thing. He's claiming emergencies because they're fucking us in the ass with these tariffs and shit, and we need to tariff them because fuck them. And I'm kind of like, so they're fighting that in court right now. And if the Supreme Court says that he's able to do the tariffs, then that could be really bad. Like, at the end of the day, that could be extraordinarily bad. Because that sets a certain precedent that I don't want to see exercised by the other side. Or we'll have gas at $15 a gallon. Just saying. Right? So, I don't really like the idea of him being allowed to do this now that I know a lot more of what's going on. Because, as was said in the case, I think Gorsuch asked, Donald, the administration, so if some future Democrat president gets into office and they are really like big worshipers of the sun god and they're upset that he's upset, and so they decide to put 5 billion% tariffs on everything oil produced, and they're like, yeah, they could do that. Like, the way that we're doing it, yeah, they could do that. And I'm like, I don't like the idea of this anymore. So, I don't know. But if they rule in Donald Trump's favor that he can do the tariffs, then we still get the $250 billion that we're then going to kind of give away to everybody. Like, I think we should be making a lot. Like, if you wanted to give $200 to everybody, I would say that that's like much more of like an appropriate thing. And like $200 to some people, there's still going to be people that are going to be earning enough to where they say, okay, we're going to give it to these people too, and they will still just bitch and complain about how it's $200 and that's it. What the fuck are we getting a $200 check for? But $200 is nice. You know what I mean? Like, it isn't going to pay off the damage I've done to my credit card over the past, month or so. But it'll help, you know what I mean? Like, and it'll be enough money to where it could be taken out of the $250 billion we've made off the tariffs. And, but like $200 doesn't buy your vote as well as $2,000. But, now we live in a computer age where everybody looks up, well, what the fuck does this actually mean, Grok? And then Grok tells us, this is kind of fucked up. And so now we all got to sit around going, well, what the fuck are we even doing? And I think, ultimately, he can't just do that. He's got to get congressional approval for that. The Democrats are not going to vote for that. Which is funny. Because the Democrats were kind of voting for doing that. Like, they wanted to give us a stimulus check every month for the rest of our lives and just keep us hooked on them. You know what I mean? Like, during COVID, yeah, how many stimulus checks did we get? 2, 3? And they wanted to give us more and more and more. Like, they're going to vote against it, though, because it's Donald Trump. So then Donald Trump can go, hey, man, I wanted to give you, we're making so much money, billions and trillions on these tariffs, man, and I really wanted to give you guys a kickback, but they don't want me to do it. And, like, if the Supreme Court decides, hey, I don't like the idea of this shit. You can't do this. You can't do the tariffs. Then he's going to have to, like, pay back $250 million. He's going to have to give all the money back. And that's going to make us look fucking retarded. Everybody's going to be like, Donald Trump can't do shit. Because ultimately the courts will be like, nah, you can't do that. And then, bitch, you can't do shit. And then he's going to be like, hey, man, I'm trying to do things. And everything, I'm trying to do things in the system. If I go by the system, by the letter of the law, nothing will ever get done. If I use mumbly fucking weird shit to kind of push things through, well, that's pretty much how we got here. We had so many Bushes and Obamas that mumbly fucked their way to get things through, and now we're fucked. And the only way out is through. And so now he's like bribing us all with this $2,000 check, saying, hey, I want to cut you guys a check. And then if, the Supreme Court says no, in fact, you have to give a lot of money back, which means that everything is going to have to, who even knows what? Like, I don't even know. Like, dude, what a monumental fuck up. Well, whatever. What are you gonna do, man? Do I think that this is a good idea? The math isn't there. The money's not there. We're not making that much money off of it. Again, $200? Like, honestly, I think a lot of people would be annoyed by it. I think a lot of people would be annoyed by those people. And I think ultimately, at the end of the day, everybody would go, dude, $200. You know what I mean? That's more than the kids are making in China. They ain't getting a $200 check from the government for shit. So, but $2,000, the money's not there. But I think it's a political tool. It's something that, it's getting to a point where Donald Trump is ready to start being like, you know what, we need to really push down hard on this whole, clean air thing. And then the Democrats are going to be like, no, we're not going to let him start his clean air Gestapo. We want dirty air. Like, he's already got them to support crime over non-criminals, crime over victims. He's already gotten them to support illegal immigrants over citizens. He's gotten them to do so many stupid fucking things, and still everybody's questioning, oh gosh, everything's going so bad. Donald Trump's doing such weird, goofy shit. Oh, fucking Epstein. I don't know if I'm going to vote for a Republican next time. I might have to go Democrat. Like, you're fucking retarded. But yeah, the money's not there. Doing retarded shit. But I think it's a political tool to get people pissed off at people for shit. Because ultimately that's kind of the civil war that we're in right now. It's the way it's all unfolding. Everybody's marshaling their troops through subliminal fucking messages. He's a Nazi and he's going to destroy democracy and he's going to take over and he's going to be a king and he's going to do all this shit. And you got to get out there and fight. Shoot. And here we are. And now he's doing his fucking little psyops. Things are getting bad. You think they're getting better anytime soon. It's 1,000 years of darkness for a reason. This shit didn't start in 1026. No. This shit started in fucking 2008. I don't know, dude. But yeah, ultimately at the end of the day, Do I think that the stimulus check is a good idea? The tariff dividend check, do I think it's a great idea? No, the math's not there. There's no money for it. Right? We're going to just chew up everything that we've made off the tariffs, and then we're going to just have to pull money to make up the difference. Like, no, I think it's a dumb fucking idea. But I don't think it's happening. Like, I don't think it was ever going to happen. I think it was one of those things where he proposes this. The obvious Democrat play is we cannot allow him to bribe the country into not liking us because of the tariffs. Right? Like, we can't get people to expect a yearly $2,000 check from tariffs, because then whenever we ultimately have to put an end to it because we ain't got the money for it, we're going to be the fucking bad guys. So we got to be the fucking bad guys now and say no, because the tariffs are a threat to democracy and he's Hitler. And don't you realize that there's billions of people going out without health care, and there's billions of people that don't have SNAP benefits, and there's billions of air control people that are not eating right now, and they're all starving to death, and their children are dying. Don't you understand that all this terrible stuff is going on? And because of all this terrible stuff, we can't vote for anything, and we can't let everything ever move forward, because you got to really understand that you fucked up when you voted for Donald Trump. And we're going to starve you out until you learn. I don't know, man. Like, it's ridiculous. The whole fucking thing anymore is just ridiculous. But, yeah, I'm not really terribly in favor of the check because the money's not there. When I thought the money was there, I was like, cool. But now that I know the money's not there, and I honestly think it's a trick. It's a trap the Democrats to make them look stupid again, and they're going to fall right into it, because now it's like an offhand comment essentially has become like a big thing, and who knows? I don't even know. There you go. That's my answer to the question. No.
We don't like it.